Culture eats strategy for breakfast. Legislation and policy is usually a reflection of the prevailing culture. For a new law policy to be effective, it must be preceded by a shift in culture so that the culture aligns with the law. What then defines a reformer's mindset? Because they are misfits, their way of thinking goes against the widely accepted truth. So when it is time for change, they're the first one to act. It's like they were waiting for it. These people, they are what I call... Hello builders, my name is Carol Gishohi and I'm your good friend here. In today's video, I'll be speaking on what I'm calling the reformer's mindset. The reformer's mindset. Now, throughout history, reformers are known to lead social movements that birth transformation. I will give an example. I'll give examples. I will begin with biblical figures before moving into historical examples. Biblical figure, we have Esther movement. Esther movement alongside the Jewish people. What this movement did is that it brought about a shift in culture with a corresponding change in leadership that led to enactment of a new law. You see, legislation and policy is usually a reflection of the prevailing culture. For a new law policy to be effective, it must be preceded by a shift in culture so that the culture aligns with the law. It was Peter Drucker, a management thinker, who said that culture eats strategy for breakfast. In other words, if the underlying value system, the underlying beliefs and mindsets of the people do not align with the newly enacted laws, policy, the people inevitably revert to factory setting, to their old patterns, whatever they are familiar with, the culture of the day. So, for a law to be truly effective, a new law or a new policy to be truly effective, it has to be preceded by a shift in culture. Social movements, they work to shift public perception, to educate so as to shift public perception, the public conscience, so that the law, by the time the new law is being enacted, the law that we are proposing to be enacted is finally implemented, the culture upholds it, the culture can sustain it. You look at the people who led movements in history, like someone like William Wilberforce. Okay, a bit of history, guys. I know history is not one of the most exciting things we want to hear. We must study history to understand, to get the patterns that help us predict the future. So William Wilberforce led a movement in Britain that led to the abolition of slave trade in the late 18th century to early 19th century. So by the time there was enactment of a new law to end slave trade, it was preceded by decades of championing, educating the masses through speeches and writing, to speaking, to shift public conscience and bring them into a place where the law, the law that was being proposed that would be later on enacted would be upheld by the culture. To shift national narratives. You see, even with Martin Luther King, before there was that Civil Rights Act of 1964, there was a civil rights movement. Movements work to educate and to shift to change minds and to shift public conscience. What then defines a reformer's mindset? Because it is reformers that lead social movements, and social movements birth transformations, because social movements, they work to educate in order to influence public perception, public conscience, and bring the people into a place where they birth the desired change. What defines a reformer? What defines a reformer's mindset? John the Baptist is described as a strange character. A strange character. Why? Because he lived counter to his culture. His social reformer. These people are misfits. They do not fit into the existing. In fact, they live outside the confines of what is existing, the existing social order. So when it is time for change, they're the first one to act. It's like they were waiting for it. Somebody said that you cannot challenge a system that serves you, that clothes you, that protects you, that fits you. So these people, it has not been serving them. They are not attached to it. That is why it is so easy for them to break away and bring and introduce a new order of things. So for these people, because they are misfits, their way of thinking goes against the widely accepted truth. Thus, they're just like John the Baptist, people of a strange character. Now, in the coming days, look out for these people, misfits. They are different kind of people. Their message and the presentation of it is very different from what we are used to. And some of us will be asking ourselves, where have you been all this while? They have been around, except that their message and their set of ideas were reserved for such a time when people are finally ready for change. They have begun to see the flaws in the existing system, the existing social order, and now, or rather, they have also begun to see the limitation of this system that is not serving the present needs, and now they want change. So then, these people begin to make sense to them. These people, they are what I call in-betweens. In-betweens, they stand at a transitional period between the old and the new, the old era and the new era, in times of transition. So they come to usher in a new age. So look out for those ones. Misfits, people of a different kind, their message and the presentation of it is very different from what you're used to. Look out for them in the coming days. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. That's it for today. I'll see you again next week with another video. Bye bye.